Just this morning, there are growing calls for the government to take urgent action on Australia's vaping crisis. A new report has found 9 in 10 Aussies want tougher laws to stop a new generation from becoming addicted.
Yeah, we're really worried about our kids, aren't we? To discuss this, we're joined by Cancer Council CEO Tanya Buchanan in Sydney. Professor, good to see you. The statistics in this report are absolutely staggering. Take us through some of the findings.
Well, what this new report shows is that Australians are really seeking urgent action from Australian governments, so federal government and state and territory governments, to do more to address this unfolding public health crisis. Of course, the Australian public health community have been calling for action for some time, but this new report shows us that the Australian community want action, and they want it quickly, with 9 in 10 Australians now supporting urgent government action.
Carry on.
The report also showed us that actually that level of support was still really high, even amongst young people, 18 to 24-year-olds, who are actually the biggest users of these products.
It's escalated so dramatically here in Australia, hasn't it? We're learning more and more about the effects of vaping, but what do we know at this stage around health concerns?
So we know that e-cigarette use is not safe. It's highly addictive, and that's another really key finding from this report, with a significant increase in the number of Australians who now understand that e-cigarette use is addictive. And so that's why they're calling for urgent action from governments to address this public health crisis. And of course, people who use e-cigarettes, the biggest group of people who are using these e-cigarettes are children and young adults. And we know that they're up to 3 times more likely to go on and become cigarette smokers, which will actually undo decades of very good work in reducing rates of smoking amongst young Australians.
So the majority of Australians want vaping banned. They want it banned on public transport. They want it banned in pubs. They want it banned in restaurants. It feels like the governments and local governments are dragging their feet on this. How realistic are these bans getting in place?
Well, I think it's important to understand that nicotine e-cigarettes are only legally available to smokers who want to use them to quit smoking under medical supervision. And so while that's the intent of the law, we know that's not what's happening in practice. And they're just flooding the market. And so what we need to do right now is to focus on reducing the supply of these products in the country. We need the federal government to stop the illegal import of these products at the border, and we need state and territory governments to step up and undertake really good enforcement measures.
You highlight the fact that legally they aren't available to anyone who isn't prescribed them, but they are. That's the fact of the matter. They are readily available anywhere. We see, children as young as 11, 12, 13 smoking them at the school gates. So why are they so readily available, and how do we clamp down on that?
So what we're seeing is that illegal operators are literally flooding the market. And so, it's been called a tsunami, a public health tsunami. And the only way we can really address this is for the federal government to absolutely clamp down and prevent illegal imports into the country, and for state and territory governments to undertake enforcement. And it's really important to remember that this is an illegal product that the illegal operators are flooding the country with. And we need all levels of government to step up and work together to shut it down.
For an illegal product, it is everywhere. Professor Tanya Buchanan, we appreciate your insight today. Thank you so much.
9 in 10 Aussies want tougher laws to crack down on vapes, and the majority are also in support of banning their use in public spaces like pubs and restaurants.
We're joined by Anita Dessaix, Chair of Cancer Council's Public Health Committee. Anita, good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Why do you think so many Aussies support a total ban?
Well, we know that there has been growing community concern and media attention, particularly on the rising number of teenagers as well as young adults who are using these products. And it's really important to remember that these products were never designed for non-smokers. They were pitched as a tool to help smokers to quit. But what we're seeing is it's actually young people who are taking them up in the thousands.
Is it actually, is there a health aspect of it, or is it inconclusive?
So in terms of its effectiveness as a smoking cessation tool, we know that there are many other products and many other ways to successfully quit smoking. In the case of e-cigarette products, they are meant to be used in consultation with your GP, and you need a valid doctor's prescription. However, what we're seeing is, again, it's teenagers, it's young adults, those who have never smoked, who are taking it up, and that's what we're concerned about.
Well, how are they accessing it? I mean, it's just blown up. They're everywhere.
That's a really good question. So we've seen through some of the studies that we've undertaken is that teenagers are reporting that they're getting it from friends, We know that there are retailers who are blatantly flouting the laws. And so what we really need here is really strong coordinated action from all Australian governments to really clamp down on the tsunami of product that is hitting the shores in Australia.
The horse has bolted with the kids, hasn't it?
Well, I want to remain hopeful that I think that if governments act now, as in this year, to really look at stemming the flow of product and really enforcing the existing rules, that we can get on top of this.
Smoking, you were able to do that with smoking because there were quantifiable, health effects from it. Do you have the same evidence yet with vapes?
Well, I think it's important the fact that you have raised tobacco smoking, and the really significant concern that we have here, particularly amongst teenagers and young adults using these products, is we do know that those non-smokers who use these products are 3 times as likely to go on to smoke. We have record low smoking rates in Australia. We don't want to reverse that trend.
Yeah, well, it's starting, isn't it? You can feel it, and especially amongst our kids at high school. It's right out there. Good to talk to you. Food for thought. Appreciate it.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my God, Karl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Karl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?
Always happens.